Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the summary for the day of 924 for the 4th of September. Commander, there is enemies hiding inside the like button. I need you to strike it. Destroy the enemy, and we shall begin the SITREP. Long time no see the intro, right? So we're going to go into the SITREP. There is one frontline change that is not reported in the frontline changes report that is already published on the DPA's main channel, and it's over at Chikaskoye Pereshnoe. And we have previously already declared the capture of Chikaskoye Pereshnoe by the Russian side. The Ryba, the pro-Russian source, reports that Chikaskoye Pereshnoe has been captured, but we never had the objective confirmation of where the front line was. And in the latest geolocation published by the Bakhmut forces, or probably the Bakhmut special forces, they are shown to heavily bombard this cluster of buildings, which the Ukrainian forces is probably using it as a base of sort. And one of the buildings seems to have some kind of ammunition, like an ammo dumped in it, and one of the buildings just explode pretty bigly. But then the use of artillery in this way shows that the entire settlement is actually under Ukrainian control. So we changed the mapping as such, with the Ukrainian forces taking the entire Chikaskoye Pereshnoe. So this is finally confirmed based on the reporting and whatnot. So anyway, this is the only frontline changes since the frontline changes report that is out, and we go into the strategic and tactical reporting. And as per recent, we're going to start from the Kherson front. At the Kherson front, there is shelling reported at Tokarivka, Virivka, Tomarine, and Berislav. Russian forces again are still being reported to be attacking towards the Pridniprovsky region, but that's about it. It's basically almost the same thing, same thing every day. Not much change regarding this. We move into the Zaporizhia front. At the Zaporizhia front, we have fighting reported over in the Orekhiv sector, this Orekhiv, towards Novoandrievka and Robotine. Information coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, but tentatively, we're still not sure what is the real situation on the ground, so we're still waiting for more information. But I just want to highlight, it could suddenly explode with unbelievable intel. Like what happened in the Voleda line, where suddenly things just collapsed like nobody's business. So over in the Voleda line, so there's nothing over at the Velikan. Oh, there is something at the Velikan sector. According to the Russian Defense Ministry, they've reported fighting in the region of Priyotne, over this region here. So I'm not sure if this is an attack or a defense, but this is something that's happening around in this region here. We haven't seen fighting in Priyotne since like forever. The last fighting was reported in March. Yeah, the last fighting was reported in March, and that's like half a year. So it's been a long time since there's any fighting in the Priyotne region. So I believe the soldiers that are guarding those lines there must be having a big shock. They must be very depressed. So over at the Prashestivka region, the situation continues to unravel. As mentioned previously, this salient here definitely can't possibly hold in this way. Ukrainians can't possibly reinforce and resupply troops in this way. Ukrainian forces withdrawn from the south of Prashestivka and north of Novomayoske, as the Russians took these grounds around here, with the capture of all of the northern part of Novomayoske. Now the Russians are probably heading towards Zolotaneva as we speak, and Russian forces have been geolocated within Prashestivka in multiple regions. So these two are footages, or these are flags by the Marine Corps of the Russian forces. So apparently the attack is actually being launched by the Marines, and there is also video footages coming out from from, I believe, the Wagner channels, showing the Marines attacking in an armored rush. So I published one of the videos on the DPA's Telegram channel. You can check it out on the Telegram. So the Russian Defense Ministry also announced the capture of Preshestivka yesterday. So confirming the capture, it looks like they are very happy about it, I guess. And fighting continues to be reported in this region according to the Russian and the Ukrainian sources. So that's that. The Ukrainian forces are seen, geolocated, or by drone footage to be running away from Zolota Neva. So they are moving up the road, moving up north. They are in a mass retreat. A lot of soldiers are leaving Zolota Neva. Looks like the soldiers here have zero motivations to fight. So I believe that we're going to see the capture of Zolota Neva within the next 48 hours, within the next 2 days, given the fact that the Russians have already detected the Ukrainian soldiers running on foot. They don't even have vehicles to drive them out. So they're running on foot out of Zolota Neva. So this Russian progress will likely to continue very quickly. And I think the Zolota Neva will be captured in the next 2 days. And this is going to change the front line strategically very, very significantly. So this is not a drill. This is not a drill. So there is also a Russian airstrike already at Shatarsky. So looks like the soldiers that's running out from Zolota Neva to Shatarsky can't even have a break. The moment they reach there, they're getting airstrike. So situation must be collapsing, or no, the morale must be super low in this region here. I think they are not ready for the fight. And of course, because the main pressure right now is over at Vodyane and Voleda region, with the Russian forces still fighting in the region of Vodyane and Voleda, Russian forces, based on Russian mapping, have captured more grounds around here. Basically, it's not significant. It's basically a straightening of the front line around here. But the pressure is now on Voleda and Vodyane. So Ukrainian forces probably sending in a reinforcement or whatnot to secure this region here could be the reason why it creates some weaknesses in the other sectors. That is a possibility. So over in the Konstantinivka region, Russian forces are still fighting in this region. They're fighting in Konstantinivka and probably south of Konstantinivka, because Ukrainian reports is a bit weird. They will repeat Konstantinivka twice, but one is in the Krakow direction, another one is the Vremivka direction. This is actually referring to this area and then this area. It's basically the same thing. So it's just that north and south. So they repeated the city twice. So the Russians are attacking this region here, and the Russian forces are geolocated to be over in the north of Paraskovievka, launching an attack. So probably this corroborates where the front line is pretty accurately. And I know some of you guys are anticipating. I'm not doing it. I'm very serious. I'm a serious guy. Over in the Marinka sector, Russian forces are attacking in the region of Georgievka. Russian forces geolocated in Maximilianivka. I wonder how long the Deep State UA or the Ukrainian mapping is going to continue to leave it as a gray zone. Then fighting is reported in the region of Krasnohorivka. Russian forces geolocated. On the tree line, there's a tank getting destroyed, I believe. No, that's a separate thing. Repulsion, so that's a Russian attack. Yeah, so sorry. Yeah, I remember seeing a tank getting destroyed somewhere, probably in the Pokrov sector. Yeah, I think it's the Pokrov sector. So anyway, that's the situation over in the Marinka region. So moving further, over in the northern end of the Donetsk front, Russian forces continue their attack in Ukraine. I think I should change the color. This is under Russian control already. And the Russian Defense Ministry announced the capture of Kharlivka. So this confirmed the Russians, or actually corroborates the Russians have full control of Kharlivka. And we will continue to monitor. The Russians are very sporadic in their announcement of capture. And sometimes they are fast, sometimes they are super slow. So not sure what is the deal with that. So we will continue to monitor the situation. The Russians, I think here no more. I think they have been announcing very randomly, the captures. Like previously we have the Zeleny one, which is like I don't know which one, I forgot. Okay, on the Pokrov front. At the Pokrov, in the let me zoom out a bit. Let's cover everything at one shot because there are no major updates. So in the Pokrov front, Russian forces continue their attack in Selidove, Novohorodivka, Mykolaiivka, Horodivka, Myrolyubivka, Vozdivizhenka, and towards Zelenopole. So the Russians are still not operating in these regions here. These reports are coming from the Ukrainian Defense Ministry, largely, and the Ukrainians are still reporting of all these attacks. Tentatively, the entire shit show has ended. There's no more shit. All the shit has been cleaned up. They have flushed. I think a lot of toilet paper has been used. So tentatively, the Ukrainians seems to be able to contain the situation over in these regions. So we will continue to monitor the situation to see whether the Russians would relaunch the Pokrov offensive. Tentatively, the Russians have captured a lot of grounds, and it's probably it will take some time for them to demine, clear out any potential booby traps, set up forward operating positions, a few hospitals and whatnot. So it's not like computer games. The soldiers need to rest, need to sleep, and you don't expect them to every day drive all the way to Adivka. It's very far. Very dangerous as well. So we move into the New York front. At the New York front, we have the fighting being reported in the Thorax and the New York sector. And I have to separate it because the situation is a bit weird. Also, over in the New York sector, Russian forces are fighting in the region of Nelipivka. There is fighting reported in the region of New York and probably over on the western part. However, there is fighting reported towards Sukabalka, according to the Deep State UA, the pro-Ukrainian source. However, the geolocation was that the Ukrainians are inside the western part of New York, in this Petrovskaya Gora region or Petrovskaya Gora sector or the neighborhood, which is weird because this is an infantry, is a mechanized attack. There is some armored vehicle, probably MRAP style, seemingly taking positions around here. However, the latest Ukrainian mapping actually shows the reverse. They say that the Russians actually captured even more grounds around here and basically lining up the front line in this way. And that's a bit weird. So tentatively, as a safety measure, this new yellow part, this region here that the frontline changes is, we'll put it in the blue mapping, the Ukrainian mapping, but we are not going to change the Russian mapping. So for those that do not know, there's two maps here, the Russian map and the Ukrainian map. It's not one map. So we'll change the Ukrainian map to reflect the geolocation, but we shall see how this develop because it's a bit of an awkward situation where the geolocation actually clashes with the Ukrainian reports. When the Ukrainian report, like Deep State UA, is actually very reliable, their information is very accurate. Just that they like to delay information. So delaying information is not the problem. So, but at least every time they update something is accurate. I think that's more important. So, but anyway, we shall see how this go. Over in the Thorax sector, the Russian forces are attacking the region of Druzhba. We still have not have the capture of Druzhba yet, and fighting is reported in Thorax. So that's about it. In the Thorax sector, we have no more updates. So things have slowed down a lot. We move into the Bakhmut front. And the southern flank of the Bakhmut front is extremely weird. We have a geolocation just on the western part of Klishevka, denoting possible Russian advance in this region here. The geolocation is a bit grainy, but it does show that it's some kind of this kind of canal. It does show something like this. There's a Russian soldier getting killed by Ukrainian drones dropping mortar or grenades. So this means that the Russians could have already made some progress down these three lines to the canal region. There's a possibility. Tentatively, we will put this as a capture first because there's soldiers being geolocated. Of course, it's a bit similar, but the Russians have not said anything. And of course, we have already reports of fighting in this region for a long time. So we'll put this as a capture first. I know it is some kind of a disparity from my plans for the New York front, where there's infantry fighting vehicles there, because but that was two different pieces of information clashing with each other. This is only one piece of information, so we'll stick to the geolocation part first. but we will probably correct it with more information. And because this could be a signal of the entire collapse of this southern part of the Bakhmut front for the Ukrainian side. It could be the case where the Russians have already took most of these positions, and then line up the front line in this way. The Russians could already taken all of this canal, and then this is why we have the reported attack on Stupovsky, Proteshne, Bilahora. That could be the case. That's why there's something very, very significant. We're not sure what is the reality right now. That's why we are depending on the geolocation. This is the first one. Hopefully we'll get more. But of course, getting more means more people dying. So it's a bit of a conundrum here. We want information, but information always comes with people dying. Yeah, because every drone shot tends to be someone dying. So there's something to note. So don't celebrate it. It's very sad, but there's war. War is war. No, people die in war. So over in the northern flank, Russian forces returns to the fighting at Zeleniansky. They are attacking Zeleniansky again. Fighting is reported at Kalinina and Chasivya. Zeleniansky, information is coming from the Russian Defense Ministry. So let's see how this continuing to develop. Over at the Sivers front, there is only fighting reported at Verkhomokalyamsky and Ivano-Darivka, according to the Ukrainian Defense Ministry. And they are a bit weird. They say that the Russians are trying to attack the defense of Siversky direction. And then then they say, for example, near Ivano-Darivka, the Russians tried to push back their units. Like, what kind of example is that? That is some stupid example. Of course, they are trying to push back your units. But anyway, over in the Crimea front, at the Crimea front, Russian forces are attacking towards Novosadove, Toske, and Dibrova. So there's nothing special about this. Moving further up north into the Svetove front, we have fighting reported towards Druzilubivka, Grekivka, Mekievka, and Nevsky. This is like the eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Nothing special about this. Moving further up north, so over at the Pokrovsk front, there is fighting reported towards Khrushchevka, Kolesnivkivka, Berestove, towards Lozova, and Miazozarivka. So this area continues to be very curious. I'm very curious about this front, but we don't have any more new information regarding this. There's a Russian airstrike on Bukhoslavka, so that something happened. But yeah, looks like the Russians are pretty serious about this front, but no, we don't have any more updates. So it could be, I'm not sure if it's a weather thing or is it or it could be like a grouping thing. I haven't checked the weather. So, but let's not talk about weather because people don't like to talk about weather. We move into the Kupiansk front. We will probably talk about it in the conclusions. So at the Kupiansk front, Russian forces are attacking in the region of Sinkivka and Petrovpalivka. Over in the region of southwest of Liman Pershi, Russian forces have developed further the front line in the forest with frontline changes due to the geolocation of Russian forces getting bombarded within the forest region. I wonder if this is the part of the fighting at Sinkivka. So maybe the report of fighting of Sinkivka is all in the forest. That could also be possible. Moving to the Kharkiv front. At the Kharkiv front, we have fighting reported over in Voschansk as usual, and this time around we have something at Hotivka. So, but I don't think this is something major. So there is also a strike. There's a Krasnopol strike, which is a guided artillery strike on a Ukrainian building, Ukrainian positions off the border town of Veterinane. And there over in the Voschansk region, there is also Russian troops getting attacked as they try to do rotation or something. So, but very, very quiet front, generally speaking, for Kharkiv. We move into the Kursk front. So at the Kursk front, the Kursk offensive continues. In the southern flank, Russian forces attack Borki. There is shelling reported at Myropilia. That's all. Over in the eastern flank, there is Russian forces attacking towards Martinovka. As mentioned just now, the geolocation confirms the Ukrainian capture of Cherkasskoye Parashnoye. Shelling was reported at Kabalkin, right? Kabalkin, and also in the Kiyazi Pervi. So that's about it in this area here. Not much happening around here now. So over in the northern flank, of the Kursk front, Russian forces are still fighting the Ukrainians over at Olivka and Malaya Lognia. Ukrainians are clashing them at Malaya Lognia. Ukrainians are attacking towards Pogrebki, most likely coming from the west as previous reports. Ukrainians are still not giving up on Ogovka and towards Kirinevo. There is a multiple drone strikes, FPV drone strike on Ukrainian convoys and troops all along the line towards Kirinevo. Russian forces shelling at Novo Ivanovka. So this is it's getting a bit old. The reports are getting a bit old because it's not that my report is late, as in the reports are getting very repetitive. It's getting very boring, and Ukrainians are not trying new things. They are probably very limited right now in their resources, and I'm trying to to see where would this lead to. The Ukrainians have been attacking Kirinevo since forever. We have the repeated reports non-stop right from the beginning of the offensive. Ogovka also continued to be under attack for so long already, and so now, oops, I pressed the wrong button accidentally, and the Pogrebki, fighting at Pogrebki, Olovka, Malaya Lognia, all this has been reported before. It's been repeating itself, and the Ukrainians are going to be very disadvantaged if they continue to fight in the same place. So over in the western flank, Ukrainians are still continuing Komarovka. As I mentioned, it's getting old. They are not trying new things. They are getting very inflexible. And this is the antithesis of what they have begun the offensive with. In the beginning of the offensive, they are very unpredictable. They're not sure where they're going, but now the reports are very similar. Every day is the same thing. So this is getting very bad. And the Russians continue to put pressure or either shelling or attacks on Snagos, Vishnevka, Krasno-Otobersky, Apanasovka, Vnezemnoye, and Godievka, shelling at Uspenovka and Obukovka, and of course this is Ivanovska. Novo Ivanovka is actually just now reported. So this is the situation over the western flank. Very bad, because now what happens is that the Ukrainians are basically as good as holding a line and get attrition away. So this is what I have already warned right at the beginning of the offensive, that the Ukrainians have to keep moving. They cannot stick to a line. And this is what they are doing right now. They are trying to hold a line. They are not drawing Russians into the open. They're not drawing Russians into any kind of ambushes and whatnot. And this is bad. The Russians continue to operate in the standoff stance, standoff position, and this is, the Ukrainians are just having problems right now. So there is also information from the Russian sources saying that the Russians are now sending a lot of troops into the Grushkovsky area. They are still evacuating civilians, and they are also supplying the grouping of forces in this region. So the Russian forces pontoon operations have been pretty successful. They continue to send in more forces into this area here. And this is going to be very bad, which means that the Glushkovo offensive might never happen. I don't think it's going to happen anymore, because the Ukrainians are unable to stop the Russians from building the pontoon bridges. And as they continue to put in more forces, this may transform into a counterattack, where the Russians incurred into the Sumy region from this area. It is possible. So we shall continue to monitor the situation over here. It's not looking good. And so outside of the front line, there's shelling reported in the Sumy region, over at Sumy, over at Basi, and then this is a Veliki Brobrik. Not very important. You just know that there's a line of strategic stuff in the south, in the rear position. I think one of them is actually it's not here. Never mind. There's a two MLRS. Not sure if they are HIMARS. Destroyed just off Kiansi. Yeah, forget it. Crab beef skinner. So anyway, that's not important. No, my pronunciation is not important. You know there's something is on the map. No, so whatever it is, there is some more MLRS destroyed. It could be HIMARS and something M270 because I did saw other geolocations referring it as such. Over in the Vorovba region, the shelling continues to be reported around here, with also at Palivka. And these are the grouping of forces that are supposed to attack into Turkino and launch the Grushkovo offensive. It did not happen. This is getting very, very bad. The situation is getting worse and worse. Over in the Khrushchev direction, or Khrushchev sector, Russian forces continue to shell Khrushchev, Esman, Olivka, and Yampil. This time around, Yampil, we have the Russian airstrike being reported, probably referring to the same thing. And the few of these positions are constantly getting shelled. Like Esman is one of those always getting shelled. Olivka is also one of them. Of course, Khrushchev. And this means that the Ukrainian forces that is holding up in these areas here are just getting attrition away without fighting at all. So, and this is bad. So this is super, super bad. I'm not sure what the Ukrainians can do right now. I suggest Transnistria. But anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys and check out the conclusions. And I'll see you guys in the next update.